In the year 1808 AD, the Earth Dragon year of the Tibetan calendar, a child was born on the Jaksika grassland in Sershul, Sichuan. This baby would later become the renowned Patrul Rinpoche, Jigme Chokyi Wangpo, which means fearless Lord of Dharma. His birth was accompanied by incredible auspicious signs. At just 5 days old, he was already able to recite the Avalokiteshvara mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. The mantra was clearly visible on his soft and tender neck. Not a legend, this was the first mark this holy being left for the world. In the Terma, or hidden treasures, of the great master Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, there is a clear prophecy about him. He is Shantideva, the great scholar, the one who wrote The Way of the Bodhisattva. He is also the manifestation of Avalokiteshvara's great compassion. Venerable Jigme Lingpa is said to have prophesied that he would be his own speech emanation, a disciple as radiant as the moon. Throughout Patrul Rinpoche's life, the most important teacher was Venerable Jigme Gyalwai Nyugu. Under this revered master, he listened to the Longchen Nyingtik preliminary practices of the Great Perfection, Dzogchen teachings 25 times, not just once or twice, but 25 times. Each time, he listened with the same devotion as if it were his first. Among the disciples of Venerable Jigme Gyalwai Nyugu at that time, there were two great masters, radiant like the sun and the moon, Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, who was like the sun, and Patrul Rinpoche, who was like the moon. After having fully received the teachings, Patrul Rinpoche went to Ritong to begin his solitary retreat. During those years, he never lay down to sleep at night, but stayed absorbed in the meditation of Dzogchen, great perfection. And finally, in a certain moment, he directly realized the true nature of his mind, vast like the sky, the state of Dzogchen. During his retreat, he documented all his teacher's instructions, The Words of My Perfect Teacher, a guide to the preliminary practices of the Great Perfection. This book later became an essential classic for countless practitioners. Patrul Rinpoche's realization was also due to the guidance of another teacher, Khyentse Yeshe Dorje. One day, Master Khyentse suddenly grabbed Patrul's hair, threw him to the ground, spat directly in his face while shouting out curses. "You so-called contemplators are just like old dogs." In that instant, Patrul Rinpoche was, at that very moment, enlightened. He immediately realized that his teacher was pointing out to him the innate awareness of Dzogchen. In front of Master Khyentse, he attained an awakening as clear as the dawn. At that moment, because of being called old dog, his realization became as clear and bright as the rising sun. From then on, Patrul Rinpoche often used old dog as his secret name. After his realization, Patrul Rinpoche did not sit high upon a Dharma throne. Quite on the contrary. Most of the time, he wandered from place to place as an ordinary monk. Once, he and his teacher, along with others, dressed in tattered clothes, begged for alms along the road. They arrived at the home of a herder, whose mother had just passed away. While performing the ritual of offering food for the deceased, a young woman of the household saw Patrul busy at the stove, and delivered a powerful kick to him, shouting out in a fit of rage, "Get out!" Patrul Rinpoche just smiled and continued preparing the food offering. When the ritual was completed, at the crown aperture of the corpse, an auspicious sign of the deceased's rebirth appeared. Only then did the family realize that these three were not ordinary monks. They pressed them for their real names. The Venerable One introduced the names of the other two masters, but did not mention his own at all. Patrul Rinpoche was not only a great master, but also a teacher overflowing with both wisdom and compassion. Once, he practiced in the wild with his disciple Nyoshu Lungtok. At dusk, Patrul Rinpoche lay on his back practicing the sky-gazing yoga. He called Nyoshu Lungtok over and asked, "Have you not yet realized the true nature of your mind?" Lungtok replied, "Not yet." Patrul Rinpoche pointed to the sky and said, "Do you hear the barking of dogs in the distance? Do you see the stars in the sky? That is the innate, ever-present, awakened Buddha nature. Don't look elsewhere." At that very moment, Lungtok transcended dualistic, and the inner eye of wisdom opened. His mind merged inseparably with the Dharmakaya. Overwhelmed with joy, he wept. In that very moment, he realized all phenomena as Buddha nature's manifestation, free from bias and obstruction. In 1889, Patrul Rinpoche peacefully dissolved into the Dharmadhatu at the age of 82, yet his profound legacy, the words of my perfect teacher, is still being read by countless people to this day. As early as 1990, this treatise had already been translated into English, French, and other languages, and was widely studied across Western Europe. Meanwhile, in Han regions, Khenpo Sodargye translated it from the original Tibetan into clear Chinese, adding structural outlines, notes, and sacred images to support contemplation and meditation. His Holiness, Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche personally wrote the preface to this book, requiring his disciples to read or teach words of my perfect teacher at least once every year, wherever Dilgo Khyentse went. He always carried words of my perfect teacher with him, reading daily and never stopping his whole life. At Larunga 5 Sciences Buddhist Academy and across Han regions in China, words of my perfect teacher has been repeatedly taught and studied. Its influence has endured across time, place, and school traditions. Patrul Rinpoche, respectfully known to later generations simply as Patrul, is regarded as an auspicious emanation. He is not some lofty, untouchable legend. He heard words of my perfect teacher 25 times and awakened when his master called him an old dog. He was once kicked by a young woman, still smiled and made a Torma offering. Today, when we open words of my perfect teacher and read of rare human rebirth, life's impermanence, and samsaric suffering, those words are not cold, lifeless theories, but truths he personally verified with his own life. Just like his name, a disciple as gentle as the moon is never dazzling, yet it dispels the darkness. Patrul Rinpoche never boasted about himself, yet he illuminated the path to liberation for countless people. If you wish to know him, please open the words of my perfect teacher. This book is the teacher he left us, one who never grows angry,